Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be Alliance War Season 58, Number 10, and AOH has matched up against Nefti. This is the best defense we've ever seen. They had the same defense across all three BGs, except for their Node 7s. On one BG it was Rintra, one it was Chavez, and I don't remember what the third one was. They had this figured out. I was really impressed. They had really good defensive placements, and it was brutal to plan for. For example, they had Node 6 Onslaught, and the best counter to that fight is probably Bastion. Dust can do it, but probably Bastion. And then they also placed Node 9 Bullseye, for which the best counter is Bastion. We don't have two Bastions. We have one. So I sent it to 6, and I sent myself to this fight here. And this is Gentle. And we are running 3 out of 3 recoil. However, Gentle does not take normal recoil. He takes his own recoil only. So you will get a damage increase if you have 13 or 12 or however many Daunted it is. If you have the max Daunteds on the opponent, then you get a bonus on the last Daunted for each point in deep wounds. But as you can see, we start out the fight getting hit here, and I'm just not really getting into my rhythm. I know how to play Gentle. I know that you need to be going for intercepts to pause your charges. So you want to go for SP1, and then you want to go for intercepts to keep them paused. It just wasn't really working out in this fight. Like, I didn't have that many opportunities to go for intercepts, because now that Gentle is not Saga, you will time out if you don't play this fight aggressively and get more charges. So I was trying to go for more charges and less for intercepts. So right here we go for an extra heavy, and then here we're going to go for a light ender, because there I just didn't want to take extra recoil damage. Probably would have been worth 5% of my health to do it right there, but I didn't. And at this point I am losing the health race. However, I did get hit once, so if you take that into account, it would probably be about the same. But because I'm not landing intercepts consistently, I'm not pausing my mass, which means that I am not, that I will have to throw more special ones. So if you do not pause your charges, then you need to throw multiple special ones. And because it wasn't really lining up for me to be able to do it in this fight, I just kind of wasn't able to deal enough damage in enough time while I was healthy. So for example here, I have 50%, Bullseye's at 60%. If you take into account the fact that I got hit at the start of the fight, I would be winning the health race right now. But now that SP2 just did 10% damage into my block in only 2 hits, because as many times as I practice, I just cannot full dex it. I don't know what it is. I've tried so much. I can't full dex it to save my life. I actually don't know what's wrong. I just can't do it. So I know that if he throws L2, I'm just going to have to block 2 of the hits. I just cannot do it. I physically cannot. I don't know what it is with me. But anyways, at one point in this fight, we were within like 6 or 7% health. He now has triple our health left. And we have to throw some special ones because I need to get more mass. We are able to pause the charges while we're hitting, but the issue is that the charges are just falling off when I'm not hitting them. So here we get the indestructible, but I think unless I land an intercept, yeah, we are losing some of our mass, and I'm not able to block anymore because he's just refusing to throw heavies. Like, I think that was 6-7 hits in a row at the end of the fight where he just would not throw heavies. And ultimately, the difference for me dying in this fight ended up being block damage. And I really didn't think that would be the case, because we have timed out to this fight once this season. And block damage was not an issue whatsoever. So I think the issue is that you have to kind of go for a more aggressive cycle to make up for the fact that you're not Saga, so you get way less damage from the charges. I sped this up because the cleanup is going to be a little bit better. I do think I get hit at one point in the fight, but the fight's going to go well. Like, nothing insane. As you can see, I'm still taking ridiculous block damage, but that's just because it's Bullseye. We do have an invuln boost here, obviously. I'd use 2 for this war, but I don't really care about that. Trying to get him to throw a special 2. Here's finally going to. Landing our intercepts in this fight, the key difference. But here I think we're going to go for an L2. Does some decent damage. And this fight is going to go down. I am only going to die once. But I don't know. I really didn't enjoy this fight. And it just sucks because I know how good Bastion is for this fight. He is really, really good for this fight. We just didn't have one. Like, we literally had one Bastion that was above rank 2. And yeah, unfortunately, I ended up taking a death. And we're not done dying today. Because we have Node 3 Sersi. And when we were planning, I was not sure who to send to this. I was in between, like, I wanted to send Diablo. That would have been my first choice, but we didn't have a Diablo that was available. Our only Diablo was needed on what I considered at the time to be a more important fight, which I regret now. Warlock is a terrible option. It obviously can work. I've seen it work. I've seen it soloed, but I would not consider Warlock like a top 3 option for this fight. Now, mind you, this Sersi is placed without willpower, but you can usually expect that that's going to be the case. I just play this fight really weird, because the issue with this fight is that Sersi is going to be gaining her buffs, and because she's gaining buffs, she is lowering the duration of my infections. So I have to parry more, which means I can't hit as much, and those two things are just going to add to not a very fun fight, frankly. And we have to run recoils because we need the damage. We are throwing our heavy attacks when we can, but the bleed's not really all that long. But I am going to get hit in this fight, and when I get hit in this fight, it's just really stupid. One of the times I get hit, I remember that it was right here, because I didn't want to dex again. I dashed back once, and I knew I did not have an infection up, so I knew I could not afford to dash back again, or I would make her regen like crazy. So I was not ready for the unblockable special 1 that was thrown. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm timing it. And then she throws another unblockable special that I was not ready for. So I'm like, okay, let me throw my special 3, get all that adrenaline healing back, and then I'll also get some healing from Warlock special 3, and we're back at 42%, and I'm like, this is not impossible. It's not great, but it's not impossible, and I just keep losing infection. Like, the infection is just so short that I find myself struggling to continuously reactivate the regen when I just have to parry all the time. And that was just probably the biggest issue with this fight. And also, not being able to throw special 2s while glancing is up obviously sucks. But that infection was over, like, instantly because she also had the true focus buff. So now we can't dash back. I'm going to throw my L2 because I know it will place the infection from the hits in the middle of it. But overall, I think if you play this fight really, really slowly, you don't let Sersi throw a single special the entire fight, that it's doable. But the biggest issue with this fight is simply keeping infection on. You have to parry so much because of the buffs she gets naturally. I mean, obviously you can prevent the number of buffs she gets, or lower it at least, when you have the or when you don't bait special attacks, because if she never throws special 1, she's never going to get her true focus. But I think right here she throws her L2 and I get clipped by the second hit. And then the burst damage on the third hit does take me down. So I would have timed out, for the record. Had I not died there, I 100% was timing out to that fight. So I don't feel quite as bad about the death, because it would have been one time out. But obviously I don't like it. And the fact that I also died in this war on my other account really sucks. In fact, this death was first because I took the fights on my ult first. But it doesn't really matter. We're going to revive, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to speed up the second fight, because there's not really any reason for you to watch the same fight again. It's basically the exact same thing. Maybe I did not speed it up. I guess I didn't. I think that this fight's going to take like a little over 2 minutes, because I really just got a nice handle of the fight in this attempt that I didn't manage to get last time. Also, I'm pretty sure I don't let Sersi throw a single special attack. So it might be that as well. Yeah, I believe I don't let her throw a special. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Oh no, she does. She throws a special one right there, but it's okay. Yeah, we lose our infection. She's healing like crazy. I'm like, can I just please not die more than once? You know, one death is enough for me today. The last of the L2 here is going to activate the glancing, which is actually perfect. That's like best case scenario. But we're going to be just slowly chipping her down. She does catch me in a dash back right there, unfortunately. But we are going to combo here just to keep up the infection. If she was running willpower, I would have just thrown my special 2 there, but because I know she's not running willpower, there's not really any reason to do that. And yeah, there's not really much else for me to say about this fight. I don't want to just keep mumbling on garbage. I don't die again. I do get the fight down here, because as you can see, when you have about 25 charges and you get that L2 going, with no glancing on the opponent, it does really good damage. It does very respectable, solid damage. But it just didn't really line up that well consistently in the first fight. And that's my bad. That's definitely my bad. We go for another L2. Again, it does really good damage. That probably did about 15% of her health. And then once again, I eat the L2, and I'm like, oh god, am I about to choke this right at the end? No. We are still going to finish this off. In fact, she's going to be dead as soon as this glancing ends. But I really think that if I were to take this fight again, I would solo. But the fight just had a bigger learning curve than I was expecting. And the one video I watched of the solo really did not help. Like, the person played it so weird, and they were lucky to solo, honestly. So yeah, didn't go super well. That is going to be it from me. And unfortunately, the rest of the alliance didn't do too hot either. We ended up losing this war with a score of 8-14. They actually died a lot more than we thought. But to be fair, a lot of those deaths were after the war was already over. Like, after we'd had enough deaths that they knew the war was won. But we 100% could have beat them if we'd started out strong, but it wasn't just me. A lot of people started out this war very rough, as you can see from our 14 death count. But we are now 4-6 on the season. I have 2 deaths, both from this war. I lose both of my deathless seasons at once. 1 death on each account. My attack bonus this season is 197 out of 200, because the 2 deaths from this war and then the timeout from war 4 or 5, which is, I think, 98%. No, it's 99%, right? Because it would be 98.5. So 99%. My main is at 99 out of 100 attack bonus, and my alt is at 98 out of 100. Also, we're not counting deathless streaks this season, because last season is just going to carry over to next season. Because this is not Alliance War. This is Alliance War raids. Fake Alliance War. So that's going to be all. GG's to Nefti. They really deserve the win. Incredible defense, and we definitely changed up our defense a little bit after this. We We didn't copy them a lot, but there was just a couple placements that we changed because they weren't really stuff that we'd been placing, and they kind of made a lot of sense. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.